Hello, Scott. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Congratulations on Expendables 4, simply titled Expendables, with number 4 replacing the letter A, arriving in theater September 22. I very much enjoyed this film. Let me start by asking you this. Sylvester Stallone, one of the biggest stars on the planet, directed and produced the first film, pretty much started this franchise. You had to direct him in this latest installment. Was it intimidating to direct somebody who basically, again, created this franchise? Did he give you pointers or was it hands off?
Look, that's kind of one of the main reasons I wanted to jump into the franchise when they asked me to come over and direct. And it was to check that box to say I got to direct Stallone. And when I did, Stallone and I talked, and we had been trying to work together for a while.
Hmm.
And he was a fan of my film Act of Valor. So we had been trying for years. And when we finally got this opportunity, it was intimidating knowing that Sly started the entire franchise. So I was only intimidated because I wanted to make sure that we were being respectful of what he started and continuing on. So, Sly was wonderful to work with. He was great to collaborate with. And I really enjoyed working with him on this film.
It has been almost 10 years since Expendables 3. One of the regrets back then was that Expendables 3 was PG-13 and was not well received by the fans because of that. So when you got on board this project, what were some of the conversations that you had with Kevin and Les about your vision for Expendables 4? And was that part of the reason why this franchise is returning to its R-rated nature?
Well, I think what's funny. The first question I asked when they called me and they said, hey, would you come over and direct Expendables 4? We're gearing up right now, and I said, are you guys going back to rated R, or are you doing PG-13? Because I only want to be a part of its R. And I was very excited that they said we're 100% going back to a rated R, and only because sometimes you got to pull the action back when you're trying to get that PG-13, and you can't go visceral and violent the way action normally should be. So I was excited that they were game on for going back to where they started, and letting the audience enjoy the relish of the R.
Was all of the ones on the storyboard, violent action wise, were in the film, or did you have to put leave some in the stuff in the editing floor?
Now, the beauty of the studios and all that, they left us alone on the violence. So it's as graphic as I think you want it to be without going way over the top, but it still makes you laugh and applaud in those moments that you probably shouldn't be laughing, but you do.
Scott, I'm Indonesian, so I'm happy that you cast my fellow Indonesian, Iko Uwais, in
Oh,
the role of the villain. He did
yes.
awesome, in my opinion. Les and Kevin, when I interviewed them, they told me that it was your idea. You advocated for Iko for that role. Talk to me about that. How did that come to be?
Look, I'm a huge fan of Eco's, and of course, his cinematic marvelness in the raid was just so great. And when we were talking about that character, I had in my head, I said, man, we got to cast somebody that is gonna be on equal ground to Jason when they fight. Like,
Mm,
the audience has got to go, oh, dude, I'm gonna sit back. This is gonna be good, right? And
yeah.
and I was like, and that's when I was like, dude, and you try to think of who's out there that would be on level with Statham, and that's when I was like, dude, I would go with Eco US and like that, and they were like, really? And I talked to the studio head, Jeffrey, and I was like, Jeffrey, do you think we can get Eco? And he's like, absolutely. I'm like, come on, let's get Eco, because he would be and he's such a terrific man. I really have deep respect for Eco. Super talented, humble man, and deserves all the accolades he's gotten.
Oh man, Iko has made us Indonesians very proud. So thank you for having him be part of this movie. Now, there are two major big set pieces in this film: the airport at the beginning, and then the cargo ship that took a big chunk of the film. What were the challenges of pulling off those massive explosive sequences? And did it come with some pressure to try to top the action that were done in the previous Expendables films?
Look, I think every action sequence, you're just trying to figure, how can we do this different? How can we raise the bar? and still maintain the brand of we're still trying to do all of this for real. We're not going over sensationalize and the whole shot's a CG shot. So, and so that was really important with especially the two big set pieces. And how do we do stuff differently, like on the move in Libya, instead of a foot chase firefight? How do we do that on the vehicles, on the move the whole time, never stopping, and still have all the fighting going on while we're still in the middle of a car chase? And so that's what that sequence did. And then on the ship, it was really just the logistics was extremely challenging, doing a motorcycle chase on a moving cargo ship, and managing that was something, and wanting to do that big motocross, freestyle jump on the middle of the deck was a whole nother ball of wax.
That's awesome. I very much enjoyed it. Now, it since the Expendables arrived in 2010, there had been 4 John Wick movies. There had been 6 Fast and Furious movies. You yourself had given us Act of Valor and Need for Speed. What I'm getting at is, how do you think the action genre has evolved over the last decade? And I know the Expendables franchise, takes pride in, old school, gritty, grounded action. But do you think, does it also need to adapt to the change of times in terms of action?
I think that there's, each franchise has its own style. And I'm always going to I think that the audience still loves practical. I still feel like subconsciously they like it being real. And, and reasons that Mission Impossible does really well too. Tom's still in there doing it. Right. And I feel like audiences really love that, and yes, Marvel and all them are going so big and so huge with their visual effects and all that. And Expendables is not that. We're still doing it for real. We're still doing it as much as we possibly can in camera and a practical location. And that's really important.
Awesome. Awesome. Final fun question for you, Scott.
Good.
Which actors would you like to see joining Expendables 5? Do you have some sort of a actors wish list for Expendables 5?
I don't have a dream list. I just hope we can bring back some that are are maybe in the previous. Would be kind of fun to bring some back. But the issue is a lot of people have died in the first 3, so we'd have to do a prequel. Maybe we do a prequel. That could be interesting.
Awesome, awesome. I would love to see that as well. For my fans at home, everybody go check out Expendables 4 or Expendables, arriving in theaters September 22nd. Scott, thank you for talking to me, and congratulations.
Thank you.